Hi, loves. It's your girl Charlie. I'm coming at you one more time today. So, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about fear because this does go with what I'm doing in October. Fear. What is fear? Fear is described in the dictionary as a distressing emotion. And to distress is like great pain, anxiety, acute physical or mental pain. So when you're talking about being afraid, you're talking about, feeling pain in some way or feeling discomfort in some way or just feeling not having peace, worrying. Some of the synonyms for pain, I mean for fear, which is a synonym means it something that means basically the same thing. I call them they brothers and sisters. They all party together. So fear is despair, dread, doubt, horror, suspicion, worry, concern, or scare. And since it's the definition of it is a distressing emotion, the synonyms to distress is, I didn't even realize it was malice. Malice is heavy. Misery, suffering, woe, shame, heartbreak, irritation, anguish, and embarrassment. And there's many, many more, but I'm just kind of cutting to the chase. So I'll give you an example of my fears. One of my greatest fears was I'm a great assistant. I can assist somebody all day long because I have a good view of how it should look up front. So my job was to always make my bosses look good. And they always told me I did a good job, and I believed them because they treated me like I did a good job. So, and I was proud to do a good job for them. So one of my fears was to come up front and be the head person, to be in charge. Though I could do it as a parent, I could do it as a friend, but to do it like in my own business, I challenged myself that way. That was scary. To even get on live is scary because it's about people's perception of who you are and what you're representing. Nobody wants to be unaccepted. Everybody wants to be accepted by somebody. I don't care if it's a handful of people. We probably want to be accepted by everybody, but the truth is, everybody has a different view and they may not accept you. I'm sure that like this morning, my grandson, when I did my first live video this morning about the GoFundMe, take me to lunch. Well, my grandson, I hurt his little feelings because he felt that I wasn't clear. Now he's a 12-year-old, acts like he's 50. He felt like I wasn't clear enough. He said, well, how are they going to take you to lunch? And you're here and da da da. I said, go fund me. So anyway, I listened to him. I took his advice because I said, you know what, you're right. And I went back on there and I made it clear, wherever you are, take me to lunch as if I was there. Just go fund me, $5, whatever, how much ever you would spend on my lunch. So if it's a $2.99 salad, whatever, it doesn't matter. So because this is all about the campaign, the fundraising campaign. So but just doing these videos are frightening to me because I'm just not, I'm more of, I could record it so I can edit it, that's cool. But to just be live with it, that means you're going to get me, who I really am, and to present myself to people sometimes it's hard because people so mean nowadays. So that is my fear. That's one of my fears, is not being accepted by people. Doing a fundraiser is also scary because that means I have to be believed and I have to be accepted by people, and people have to believe in what I'm representing, I'm presenting to them. So the scary thing is, wow, well, what if they don't believe it? Then rejection comes in through fear. and then it kind of captures who you are, and then it takes you down this road. And I'm telling you what I know, because I lived in the belly of fear for years, and I mean years, just afraid, paralyzed, and was to do this a year ago wouldn't have happened. 6 months ago wouldn't have happened. Charlie's Voyages record, yeah, I could do that. That started me to come out, to come out like this in public. I used to just be scared to get up. I mean, I could sing, but to get up in front of people to actually sing, oh God, it was the scariest thing ever. How did I become so afraid? That's the question. People made me afraid. When I was just my regular self, going along, singing my song through my little daisy field, telling people the truth about what I saw. One of my friends told me that she said, everybody can't handle your truth. And I didn't want to be by myself. I wanted to have friends. So you know what I did? I stopped telling people what I saw. And it like almost killed me to not be myself. So I would just be quiet. I felt like a liar, and I was a liar because I was omitting the truth. People would, as long as you didn't ask me. If you asked me, then I would sweetly tell you in a roundabout way without getting real detailed. But is that really helpful to a person? Sometimes, but sometimes it's not. So now I'm back to being myself. So I'm just straight up, because I don't see the need to camouflage things. I think we disservice people by not being honest with them. Now, should you do it in love? Absolutely. You have to. I walk with the Holy Spirit, because some things shouldn't be said. Some things is just for prayer. So now, if you ask me, I'll tell you. If you don't, I won't. Because I think that we're slowly destroying each other, and we're making each other afraid by forcing one another to be something we're not. So that started my little fear factors. The other thing was when I started getting involved, when I got sick. And it started with the pain stuff. When I had fibromyalgia, I still got it, but I hate to say I still got it, because I'm being delivered from it. But at the moment, I'm not totally free, because I have to finish freeing this in my heart to be totally free in my body. So just going to doctor, just trying to find out what was wrong with me. And then some doctors was like basically telling me, it's just something that's in people's head. And then other doctors are saying, no, it's not, because millions of people couldn't be saying that they have this disorder, and it's just all in their head. So that made me feel kind of bad. But by that time, I felt all beat up. Then going into the cancer community, I didn't know that being a black female was a crime. It was harder for people like me, especially because I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, I do love the weather in Albuquerque, and some of the people are great, but they're not. I will say me, and I know other people did not find them as friendly to black people. It was a very hard press. So I remember when I first went to my cancer doctor to a meeting, and I came with a representative from the Breast Cancer Resource Center, one of my great friends who's passed on from cancer, and she was, my buddy. She's going to take notes for me, and I had a list of things that I was concerned with. Well, he felt very, as a matter of fact, pissed off that I had the nerve to come to him with 18 things that I was concerned about. And he basically told me if I didn't like the way they were doing business, I can go somewhere else. Now, what's that to tell somebody who's in stage 3 of breast cancer, knowing nothing about this disease, and fear has taken over my identity? So I had to just let him know, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just asking you to help me. So once I made myself very clear, and then I had to make his ego feel good, no, you're a great doctor, woo woo. Why did I have to go through all of that? So I had to make him feel better about his position and be clear on what I was trying to do. And then, and only then did he say, oh, well, you know what, we can hook you up with a social worker. Oh, let's get her with a patient navigator. Oh, yeah, and I recommend that you might see a cancer psychologist so that you can talk this over with someone. Then I started to get the help that I need. But before then, their focus is let's get her cured. Let's see, it's about the cure, the medicine. They don't think about the person inside. So they didn't have that type of compassion, or the elements that some cancer centers has. Now I understand the cancer centers of I forgot what it's called, like Chicago, Arizona. It's a network, and it's just I understand that they have more integrative practices. However, all of that sends a message of fear because it sends a message of I'm not important. And when you don't feel important and you don't feel needed, and people make you feel like you're not good enough, it sends a fear within you because it's a negative. It makes you feel uncomfortable. You worry. You don't have peace. And see, the opposite of fear is love. The anonym, I would say, is love, joy, trust. And when you don't have trust, you're afraid. Look how I don't know how you feel about this, but I have watched over time how we have frightened each other into a state where most of us are just withdrawn from each other because we don't trust each other. We do one thing, and instead of trying to, talk to the person and understand the person and let them know, what, I'm not cool with what you said, blah, blah, blah. Now, some of us got it down packed, but other of us don't. And I could tell you this, I learned to be family first from my mother, because she told me and my brothers and sisters we were all we had. Her and my Aunt Annie Mae, they would tell us that you're all you have. Us, my children, my brothers and sisters, and my cousins. And then when I went to live with my cousins, a different set of cousins in Ecorse, Michigan, and I was going to an Adventist church, it really is a community that. But I'm no longer Adventist. However, they're still my family, because once you become family, you're just family always. So we learned how to be family. We would fight, we would fuss, whatever. But guess what? We always came back to love. And that's something I always admired about the community. Is because we were taught the principles of love. So we know how to love, and we know how to go in and out of that thing. Now, I'm not saying everybody's perfect in it, but I'm just saying we do forgive each other and we let it go. And through that, fear is dismantled. But when you're afraid, you withdraw from people. And because you start looking at things through the eyes of fear. And when you look at things through the eyes of fear, you don't have peace anymore. You don't have joy anymore. Everything starts to be dark and gloomy and negative. And I don't know about you, but since I've come out of fear. Now, I'm not saying I'm totally free. I'm working on it. It's a press every day, because once you are consumed with it, it is such a press to come out of it. But I am more in touch with my inside man. So that's why I'm able to smile again. I mean, I used to have a fake smile on my face, like, oh, hi. But now I have a genuine smile from my heart on my face, and I can feel it. And that's joy. And that says, you know what? Fear is dying. Because I look at fear as death. I know God says that the last spirit he's going to tie up is death. And I really believe that is the spirit of fear, because when you're first told about anything concerning death, the first thing you get is paralyzed with fear, because you're scared. You don't know what's next, what's going to happen. What am I supposed to do? Even when a person is dying, actually passing away. I know when my mom passed away, I wasn't there with her when she actually passed, but through the process of her dying, it was a very interesting process. And I had already dealt with my fear, because I'm the type, in emergency situations, I'm just on. And I don't get scared. I just deal with the situation. Some people get afraid. And to watch even my family's different reactions in my family members I thought was interesting, because some of the ones I thought would not be afraid, I could see fear in them. And I was like, wow, I just thought that was interesting. Me, I'm the type that I take care of business, I get it done. Maybe a month or two later, now I'm breaking down. But then usually when I'm breaking down, there's nobody there for me to break down with. So that's how I developed my relationship with Christ, because